Hello and welcome. I'm Tom Sinclair, that Vid Blaster guy. Sure am glad to be here for another episode, another exciting episode. Well, you know, excitement is in the eye of the beholder. It depends on what you're interested in, whether it's exciting or not. Today in Vid Blaster, we're going to be talking about how Vid Blaster handles audio. So if you don't want if you don't want anybody to hear you, then turn this off. Turn this off. But if you're here because you're watching the show live, and thank you for all the folks that have tuned in today watching live, or if you're watching us on YouTube, and by the way, we hope you subscribe, that you'll find this useful and it might answer some of the questions and kind of either help you with some troubleshooting if you're having some problems, or help you have a broader understanding of how Vid Blaster and audio play together, because sometimes they play together nicely, and then there are the other times. So we'll come to that in just a second. Our show is based on the premise that one guy with one PC can do one awesome broadcast. We've been doing the show about 2.5 years. We started out with one guy, one PC, one awful broadcast. and we've made our way from awful to mediocre to intermediate to sort of good. And I think we're probably in the sort of good plus range right now. Still a lot of foibles. But the idea is that one guy with one PC can really do a good broadcast. You got to have the right software. You need to have your PC configured correctly. You need a mixer and a mic and all that kind of stuff, a good internet connection, a good CDN to stream it, a good way to record it, all that kind of stuff. And as you've watched our shows, if you haven't, basically we're using an i7 quad processor, Vid Blaster, the broadcast version 3.33 is the current beta that we're using today. Let's see, a Behringer Xenix 1204 USB mixer, and Audio-Technica AT897 shotgun mic. So I don't have a lapel mic, and I don't have a mic in front of my face. That's kind of the basic setup. We need to do a studio tour here before too long. Haven't done one in a while, and I think it would be fun because it would mean I would have to clean up, because you wouldn't believe my studio. Well, you would believe my studio. Let's see if I can give you a little bit of a shot here. If you look over my shoulder, you can see that, just things are just a jumbled mess. And that's okay. Jumbled messes have their places. And so we're hoping that I can get it cleaned up in time for that. Anyway, today we're talking about audio, and I've got a Vid Blaster window popped up. So let's pop that in. And this is what the broadcast skin looks like. It's a little darker than the regular Vid Blaster skin. And I've taken the default profile, and I've just added a couple of extra modules to it. And let's see, let me do one more thing here. Let's see if, well, heck. Tell you what, guys, I hate to do this on the live show, but let me reconfigure this window real quickly. And, it just, a brain is a terrible thing to waste. And sometimes I don't, I get something going, and then it's like, okay, that's what I want, and then I don't always remember how to put it all back together again. So let's see if this is okay. Yeah, there we go. Not quite as big. And let's see if we can just expand it up a little bit bigger and make it where we can all see it more easily. And I do that live, but it just, who wants to show you? Nobody wants to show all their tricks. Okay. All right, so let's go back to that one. What I've done is I've taken the default profile and I've added a few of the player. I've added the audio player. I've added the recorder. I've added the streamer. And I already had the player. And these are the modules mostly that use audio in Vid Blaster. Vid Blaster was designed and intended to use a separate mixer that attaches to the PC, and that Windows handles that transport of audio to and from the PC. And so we're not going to get into the mixer part of it too much right now. I've got a mixer review on YouTube for the X1204 USB that I did a while back, and I've changed it a little bit since then, but that's still pretty good. So you could do a YouTube search, or I'll put in the show notes for this what that connection to that mixer review was. But the idea is that Windows is basically controlling the audio, and that Vid Blaster is going to go to Windows in order to get what it needs to get. So let's say we want to record something. So we're going to go to the recorder. We're going to right-click on the recorder, and we're going to swing down here to Audio Device. And when we do Audio Device, are you guys seeing that at home? I'm not showing that on my screen. I just want to make sure that everybody can see that. See if we've got some folks in the chat room. Do you see me when I open that window? We're going to wait just a second for the guys in the chat to respond. And we may have a little delay in the stream. No, Al says no. Well, then, boy, you know what? This is good. In the next segment, Streaming Idiots segment, coming up a little later, we're going to do a five ways to do awful broadcasts. And so I've just practiced way number 2. I think it's way number 2. No, excuse me, it's way number 1, which is I've set up something, and I assumed that it would work exactly that way I wanted to, but it didn't. So let's see if I can fix that here. Let's add a output. Okay. And we're going to go from the program. We'll turn that on. No, and then we'll add a camera module. Hang on with me, guys. I appreciate this. Is embarrassing to not have my ducks in a row as I shoulda, woulda, coulda. Isn't that funny? You would think of all people in the world that I would have that ready to go. But all right, we're going to capture. Just going to do a freehand capture of this window. And that'll be there. And then we want to take that camera 1. Okay. And we're not getting any capture. Oh, let's set it up for capture. There we go. All right. And we're going to go to there. All right. Now, let's see. Boy, I wish you guys would see what I'm doing. It is so beautifully high tech. It's just not even funny. A camera, and it is that one. Okay, and there we go. So let's go there. Yeah, that's a little fuzzy. Let's try. We'll go right there. That's going to be the best we can do on this one, guys. And I'll tell you later what I've done. So in Vid Blaster, and let's just move that out of the way so it doesn't just. Oh, come on, stay out of the way. It doesn't want to move. Well, can we hide it? Display size 25%. That'll work. Okay. So here in the recorder, we're going to right-click the recorder. We're going to come down to Audio Device. And these are the inputs into the PC that carry audio. You can see the top one is, back to Audio Device. The top one is a microphone. The second one is a Realtek digital input. The third one is a line in from the Behringer mixer USB. And the fourth one is line in from Realtek high definition audio. Well, I know that I want to take the mixer as the in because I want to take whatever's coming from the mix. So I'm going to select that. And I have selected the audio source for my recorder. So when I hit the record button, it will go to the mixer, to the mixer's connection to the PC in order to get the audio for the recording. Similarly, in the streamer, I can go to the streamer and let's see, I guess I'm going to have to tell it I'm going to stream to, let's say we're going to stream to Decast, and I'm going to right click again. Now I can have the audio device, and I'm going to do the same thing because I want the streamer to pick up the same audio that's in the recording. So I've now set the audio for my recorder and for my streamer. Now, and that's fairly basic setup. One of the things that you want to be careful of as you go through that is to have a real clear understanding of what the audio highways are. You know, what direction are the highways going? Where do they turn? Where do they stop? Where do they what direction is the traffic moving? Because your mixer is going to receive audio and it's also going to send audio. Now, VidBlaster is kind of funny. You notice that I set up the recorder and the streamer to go to my mixer to get the audio. That means that when I play audio in VidBlaster, it will not necessarily pick up that audio unless that audio has been sent to the mixer to be mixed. VidBlaster does not have a audio mixer built into it. So let's go back to our drawing here, or our illustration here, and we're going to say, okay, we've got the audio player here, and I'm going to right click it. I'm going to select an audio device, and I'm going to select my speaker's Realtek high definition audio, because I know that that is actually a physical connection coming from my mixer to my PC. That's not, let me open that up, back up again, audio device. I selected speaker, and you see the little dot next to it right there. I selected speakers, Realtek high definition audio. If I had selected speakers, Behringer USB, I would have been selecting the audio going to the PC, going to the mixer from the PC over the USB channel. And I don't want to do that because I don't have as much control over that when I send it that way. If I send it out the speaker from the PC, it goes into the mixer as an input that I can control with the channel volume and the EQ and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to select speakers here. And now I can control the audio volume of the audio player here at my mixer, as opposed to having to control it here in the audio player. Now I can also control it. You see the little control right there moving up and down. I can control it there in the audio player, but I'd rather have everything where I can control it with my left hand. Let's see if I can get you guys to look over my shoulder here. Oh boy, you can barely see. Let's see, right there. Yeah, there's the mixer. And so I'm controlling everything there on my left hand. And that allows me to control all the mix that I'm going to make. The audio player and the player work the same way. I can find an audio device, and if I have more than one output on my PC, meaning more than one input on my mixer, I can set up, for example, I've got Blackmagic audio, so I've got the Blackmagic Intensity Pro card. sending stereo audio out, I can select that for my player, and then when that comes into my mixer, it's on a different channel, so I can control my audio player on one channel and my player on another channel, and then the recorder and the streamer get the mix that comes from the PC. So these two are sending audio to the mixer, and these two are receiving audio from the mixer because they're going to do something with it. They're going to record it, they're going to stream it. So the player and the audio player are going to play audio. I mean, they'll play audio, and you'll hear audio most likely, but unless you direct that audio to your mixer where you can control it and mix it up and then send it back to these guys, you're not going to have the audio the way you want it. In that sense, it's really, really kind of simple. In the sense that it's a lot of wires and they're moving all around. Sometimes you have to draw it out on a piece of paper and have your mixer here and your PC here, and draw the lines where they're going and which direction they're heading. And of course, remember, USB is bidirectional. It's going to be an input and an output. It can be a tad confusing the first time. So let's run through that one more time just to make sure we all have it, because I want to make sure I got it right. In Vid Blaster, there are 4 primary modules that handle audio. There's the recorder, there's the streamer, there's the audio player, and the video player, which is just called the player. The recorder handles audio. Let's see, where's the recorder? Right here. The recorder handles audio through something called the audio device on its menus. And it allows me to find any inputs into the PC that are audio. And in this case, my Behringer USB mixer coming in via USB is the selection that I'll make for the recorder. Same for the streamer, because I want the audio to be the same either way. I guess you could record and stream different audio. Don't know why you would, but I guess you could if you needed to. So these two represent inputs into Vid Blaster, into the PC, that are audio. Now the player and the audio player are kind of funky. You can play them and you might be able to hear sound, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be part of the mix that the recorder and the streamer are looking for. So we need to make sure that the player and the audio player's destination, that is where they are sending the sound, is the mixer. So I can right-click on the player, select Audio Device, and I know that this player is sending sound, sending audio to the speaker port on the back of my PC, and my speaker port is connected by a cable to my mixer as an input. So I've got that as speaker, and since it's going out the speaker port and not out the USB, it comes into my mixer as a separate physical wire, a separate cable, and that means, being a separate cable, that it's a separate input and I can control it separately. The video player, again, I have the choice of all the different audio outputs that the PC has, because I'm going to send this audio out to the mixer. And in this case, I'm going to select the Blackmagic audio port because that's connected to a different input on the mixer, so I can control the player sound and the audio sound. I can control the audio from both of those on the mixer. I can turn them off, I can mute them, I can do that all with my left hand while I'm using my right hand to click the mouse and switch cameras and do all sorts of other things. And I guess that's how, a one-man band, that's how a one-man band manages to make it all work. Now, if you've not seen VidBlaster before, you can go to the VidBlaster forum, which is forum.vidblaster.com. Go to the download section and download either the latest released version, which is 3.17 as of this day, January 21st, 2015, or download the latest beta, which as of today is version 3.33. And it'll come across as the trial edition, which is equal to the studio edition. There are 4 editions in VidBlaster. You've got the home, the pro, the studio, and the broadcast. And I should have mentioned this at the top of the show. Sorry about that. Full disclosure, I am an authorized VidBlaster reseller, so if you're interested in purchasing VidBlaster, you can do it by going to our website at vidblasterguide.com and go to the store and purchase it there. And you will get personal support from me by email and cell phone and whatever else you might be doing. So that pretty well wraps it up for audio. Again, the primary thing to remember with VidBlaster is that VidBlaster is expecting that you are going to have a separate mixer. And in terms of recording or streaming, VidBlaster is going to be looking to that mixer for the source of the audio. Any audio that's produced by VidBlaster in a player or in the audio player needs to be part of the mix. So it has to be physically sent out to the mixer to be mixed in, and then again it'll be brought back to the recorder or the streamer to be recorded or streamed. Now if you use, I can see a question percolating in some folks' heads right now. If you use Flash Media Live Encoder separately from VidBlaster, and some people like to do that because they can send more than one stream, they have a little finer control over the bit rate and the resolution and those kinds of things. If you use Flash Media Live Encoder separately, when you get into the audio portion, the audio module in Flash Media Live Encoder, again, you want to direct it to your mixer. And in my specific example, I would use Flash Media Live Encoder directed to my USB Behringer connection on my PC, and so it would pick up the mix of the audio that VidBlaster is sending to it, and also, you know, any other audio that I'm sending to it myself. My microphone, if I've got a cell phone attached to the PC to take a call, that'll be part of the mix. If I have some sort of sound device, a tab or a phone even that's playing music, that would be connected to the mixer and would become part of the mix. Or if I have a Skype caller, that's not really a part of VidBlaster. VidBlaster will capture the video from the Skype call through the screen capture utility, but it is expecting that audio, again, to be part of the mix on your mixer. So that in the case of Skype, you're taking the Skype audio and you're routing it out to the mixer. Again, if you've got a separate sound device to route it out to, then you can have control of it at the mixer. And then I think I've done a show a while back on Skype and how to handle the audio and the mix minus and all that, so I'm not going to repeat that. If you'll just go to YouTube and search VidBlaster Guy Skype, it'll probably pop up within the first 2 or 3 choices. Let's see. I want to check the chat room and make sure that we haven't missed any questions in chat. I guess my favorite comment in chat somebody made a while back was, "Tom, your fly's down." And I'm thinking, hold on a second, the camera doesn't go that way. But they got me. They got me. All right, let's see. Any questions so far? No, just some good banter. Good banter. Okay, we always like good banter. And looks like Mikey G dropped in for a little while. Good to have you. Oh, and Dr. Campbell's here. Welcome, Charles. Glad to have you there, too. And Jean Lamar is there. Welcome, Jean. Glad to have you, too. Very good, very good. Didn't want to embarrass you guys, but didn't want to let your your presence go unnoted for posterity. Let's see. Coming up in future shows, we're going to have some more guests on. And I know you enjoyed having Alan Bunt on a couple of weeks ago when we talked about the playout controller. Al is really outstanding in that, and he's going to be on again with more of that. He's got a message in the text. Bad audio results in bad broadcast for me. Very good. That's a great point, Al. Is that, folks will tolerate a broadcast that has video that's maybe a little fuzzy, maybe has some blocking in it, maybe has a low resolution, but they won't tolerate audio that sounds bad. It is annoying. You can close your eyes and listen, but you can't close your ears and get anything out of the program, because even though it's a visual medium, audio is really critical. And so Al is totally correct. And Al does Good Shepherd Lutheran Church up in Wisconsin. And so, you can imagine it in church, the message is the message. If you can't hear the message, you can't hear the message. So audio is critical. But we will be having other friends and neighbors come on as guests in the future. Also, for those of you that are doing broadcasts, and this probably wouldn't work so well for churches, although I'd be happy to talk with you about it. I'm working with a developer now on a way to monetize video by inserting advertisements into the video, not when the advertising people want them to come on, but whenever you choose for them to come on. So if you're doing a sports broadcast or anything that lends itself to periods of time, to breaks in the action, basically it's as simple as clicking a button that says 120 seconds. And so for the next 2 minutes, an ad server somewhere upstream takes over your broadcast and overlays some ads, and your viewers watch them, and you get paid. Obviously, there's more to it than that. Actually, the ad server identifies where your viewers are and serves up ads that are customized for wherever they might be. So if it's somebody in Australia, they're not going to see about Smokey's Barbecue House right down the street here in Fairhope, Alabama. But that'll be fun, and we'll be talking more about that in the future. I think that's going to be a neat way to contribute to the financial success of broadcasts that have a pretty serious financial element to them. There's always pay-per-view, there's always sponsorships, there's always advertising that you can go out and sell, but this is a much easier way of producing some revenue. Probably not as much revenue, but then again, it's not as much work. So let's see. Al has a good comment in the chat room about monitoring the audio for VidBlaster, and that can be a little deceptive. And let me take the last minute and talk about that. I monitor my audio. I'm wearing just little $5 earbuds. Don't have big bucks for the ones that are custom formed to your ears, but that's because I'm such a cheapskate. Anyway. And my headphones are plugged into my mixer, into the headphone jack on my mixer. So I hear what the mixer hears. And if the mixer can hear it, I'm hearing it. If there's audio that the PC generates, wherever it might be, however it might be, and that doesn't go to the mixer, then I don't hear it. Now the default Windows audio comes to the mixer, so I hear any kind of Windows message or anything like that, a Skype ring, that type of thing I would hear. But if there's audio that you're generating in your software, let's say there's a video player that you want to use, or maybe you've got YouTube window popped up and you're going to use the audio from a YouTube window to do some background audio for a broadcast. Unless the default setting for that browser is directed to your PC. And I don't know if you could hear that, but I certainly could hear that. That's the little alarm that says I've gone over time. I'll have to. It's the first time using an alarm. Sorry about that, folks. So we'll have to adjust that so it's a visual cue and not an audio cue. But make sure that whatever your audio is, that your audio goes through your mixer, and then you can hear it at your mixer. Now, if you need to find out what your broadcast sounds like, there are lots of ways to do it at the same PC, but there are also lots of ways to screw that up, I guess is the easiest way to put it. The easiest way to see what's going on with your broadcast is to listen to your broadcast, is to watch it. Go to another PC. Now, it could be your phone, it could be your tab, it could be a laptop in another room, whatever, or call a friend and say, can you see me? Can you hear me? You know, how does the audio sound? How does the video look? That's the best. That's the best one. All right, well, let's see if we got any other questions here before we go out on as to audio. No, looks like we've got it all covered. Well, guys, it has been a treat to bring this little audio show to you today about VidBlaster. If you have questions, shoot me an email, tom@thatvidblasterguy.com. I'd love to hear from you. If you're interested in purchasing the software, absolutely shoot me an email, and we can chat about what's best for you. I also build custom PCs for folks that are really, really serious about streaming, so I can help you with that too. I guess that's about it for now. So, folks, thanks for watching, and we will catch you on the flip side, whatever the flip side might be.